Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room for Wednesday, July the 10th. My name is Barry Anderson, moderator of your trading room. Can I get a quick sound check, please? Yeah, my day is done. I mean, I've left a lot on the table, but I'm not unhappy. You know, we're in a crazy world right now in this low float mania. Now, this actually had done I'm talking about VISL, of course. VISL did a reverse split on May the 10th, so about 2 months ago. And now you look at the news today, and I decided not to get biased like I did on the CEI yesterday. I mean, it's a $2.8 million contract with the U.S. Army. Maybe there's more to come. I have no idea if that's an upfront payment over how many years, but it's only $2.8 million. Doesn't matter. Right now, traders are salivating to get into the next CEI and these low floaters. So, you know, this is, I don't know even what to say. So anyway, the bottom line is I took it at 315. I sold some right here at 424, and I sold the last bid at 480, thinking that this area here might block it, that it might have a tough time getting through 5, but not unhappy. Great way to start the day. Now, I have created something. If you can't see my screen, I think I'm going to put this in here. Maybe in tech support. I'll put this in tech support. Okay, so go to tech support, and you can't see my screen. Go to tech support. You can't see my screen, of course, but go to tech support, and I've created a little document that might help you. Okay, great. So anyway, there you go. I mean, what a start. What else is happening? So VLRX, this is another recent reverse split. This was on, I can't remember the day, but it's a recent reverse split. You know, they gap up on their wearable devices had been adapted by, I guess, health management. So this is another one, another low floater, 5 million in the float. Okay. Yeah, do a refresh. Well, my criteria, listen, I mean, I look at the news, obviously, look at the news. This is where I saw it. And I said, okay, took out the whole number. I looked at the weekly chart. It had room. And I decided, okay, traders are going to want this one right now. Now, I had no idea it was going to do this, of course, or even this. You know, it could have collapsed. So I just took it when it got over that whole number of 3. It looked like it was holding well, and I just took it there. Low float. Always have to look at the weekly and the daily chart to check to see what sort of resistance there could be. NIO, NIO. Another gap up for this one, still strong. MFGP. This is actually an earnings play. We don't have it listed as an earnings play, but this is an earnings play. Big gap down for it. Big area for it. I think it's a foreign stock. Yeah, United Kingdom. Okay, so MFGP. Big gap down for this one. Big area for it right here. You can see the low right there is 22.39, so it's sitting right at that low, 23.37. ELF could be a continuation. Had a great day yesterday. It's already continuing. Low float right now. Low volume right now, but it looks like a decent continuation play. ELF. Levi had earnings after hours yesterday, and is sinking on that earnings report. Again, this is an IPO from back here. Keep an eye on Solly. It's a pretty wild one. It's not up that much right now. It was up a little bit more when it was up to 1735. Keep an eye on it, obviously. The other one, listen, the S fund hasn't moved at all. There's no volume at all. These reverse splitters, Might take a while before they finally have a press release of some sort, but I'm just going to keep an eye on this S fund. We already saw what CEI did yesterday. It is given up a lot, of course, right now, but look what it did right at the very end of the day. Gave it up after hours, giving it up now. And then Lending Club yesterday. And it has actually had a nice little pop, no volume, but there's a little pop, 36 shares, but a little pop. And again, LC and CEI had their reverse splits 2 days ago, and S Fund the same day. It has not moved yet. Perry, PERI, another gap up, little gap up, fairly low float, 24 million in the float. I don't see any specific reason. It had news yesterday. And HLIT, it's had a nice day yesterday. They do have some news, plus an analyst has given them, Seifel has given them a price target of 10. And let's see what else. I'm sure there are other things, but obviously dominated by the VISL. All right, let me see what sort of upgrades and downgrades. Yes, I'm getting to that. I'm seeing that. The conviction buy for Goldman Sachs. If I hate the 5-letter ones. Look at CTMX, guys. This is one we were watching yesterday. CTMX looks interesting. Again, that big void. I have to back out the weekly chart a little bit more. See the void. No volume, but we may have continuation for CTMX. Anyway, let me get to the upgrades and downgrades. A few more upgrades today. Okay, there are the upgrades. We've got the downgrades in now. MFGP continues to move down on earnings. A few more to go. All right, there you have some of the upgrades and downgrades. I know, the contract's only that much, but hey. See, I kind of got burned yesterday by discounting the CEI news, thinking that wouldn't really pop it, so I decided not to get biased this morning on the VISL news. Well, it certainly appears on my up gappers right there. Been appearing all morning. And let me get the pre-market actives in here. Again, this is it. I'll put this in the tab, the pre-market activity tab. It was interesting maybe to go over, take a look during the day and see what has really kept moving. Pre-market activity tab right there. Yeah, that MFGP. There is, well, it's basically now below that area, 22.39. So it's just 7 cents below that low right there on the weekly chart. Now it is a UK stock, so be interesting to see how it trades once the market opens. I don't see any, I saw some news yesterday on it. I think you're talking about the PERI. Get that coffee poured. Let's see. Yeah, the news was yesterday. So maybe it's just catching. I don't even know what it did yesterday. Well, actually, it's just basically a continuation then. I mean, look at the pop it had yesterday. This does not trade very much. It only traded 500,000 shares yesterday on that news, but there was the pop on the daily chart, and now it's up here. So this is basically a continuation on the news from the news yesterday. Get some of the. I do see this one, this NBRX. I've never really enjoyed trading this one. It seems to do this quite a bit, has a pop, and then just fizzles once the market opens. So we'll see what happens with this NBRX. There is, some resistance around this 130 area. I guess if it got through, but even up here, 150. So it doesn't have like a ton of room on that weekly chart, NBRX. Yeah, I guess I should back this weekly chart out now just to see. Yeah, I mean, I don't, maybe this had a name change back here. I don't know. I don't think this was an IPO here. So they did a reverse split. I do know this. I went back and I'm pretty sure I saw there was a reverse split. That was on May the 10th. I may have been wrong. I'm sorry. That's the one that had the reverse split on May the 10th. Yeah, so I'm sorry. So this had the reverse split on May the 10th. So 2 months ago. And it was a 1-for-10 reverse split. And that I'm talking about VISL. I'll do a search here. CEL, a lot of stock twits activity. Let me get the short float percents. FTR, Frontier, the MAG. No volume though. There's just no volume in these, so it's just hard to commit. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, somebody mentioned Bitcoin up to that 13,000 mark, getting close to that 13,800, where it was about a month ago, maybe. Let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin chart. Yeah, so it's over 13,000. So this was the high right here on that day. That was the 25th, so almost a month ago. Right up here, 13,800. So again, I'm going to reiterate this. If you can't see my screen for some reason, if you're in the room, and well, a couple of things. If you can't hear me or you can't see my screen, click on the tech support tab. All right, and I've written something down there for you, which may help. Okay, just click on the tech support tab. You either have to do a refresh or disable your Chrome, the hardware accelerator within Chrome. Now, I suppose we should not discount this CEI. I mean, it may be completely over, but it's on a basing here. This was the run up right at the end of the day, 330, 945, right at the end of the day. Upgrades, that's okay, Joko. Upgrades and downgrades, they're basically just analysts putting their opinions on various stocks. You know, take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes, of course, when Goldman talks, this is the old E.F. Hutton, but when Goldman talks, you know, people do sit up. That's why, you know, the CMCSA conviction buy by Goldman, you know, we'll have to see. I mean, it's taken out all this area here. No, I didn't see that one. Too expensive for me. I don't like trading these ones, but hey, I mean, some do. That's great. If you guys remember OLED as an example, I mean, sometimes it can take a long time, but I remember, if I go back to a weekly chart, I do remember last year, Goldman put a big buy rating on OLED and literally put a $200 price target on it. Now I remember it did this and this, and I think the stock was in the 80. I think it might have been here actually. I think it was in the 122. I think it was right here, and it dropped all the way back down to 82. And now look at it though. Again, I'm not saying that everything that Goldman says is going up, but I do remember last year they put I think I put a 190 target on it. I'm sure somebody could dig that up, but well, and then there's the stock of the decade, yes, NTNX. was right back here. I mean, admittedly, it did move. And the decade still has, what, 8 more years. So we'll see. You know the one I cannot get on any one of my scans, and it's I just don't have any answer for it, is Levi. I cannot get it on this. It's an earnings play. Look at VISL, $7 now. Wow. But I cannot get Levi in any scan. And here are my, it's down at least $1. It's between 1 and 2. Earnings. It's an earnings play. So I don't know. Why do I have, no, I'm sorry, it's not an earnings play. It is an earnings play, but this filter is not an earnings filter. It's just making sure that it only sees stocks. I've changed the server sort. I cannot get it to show. Change from the close. I have it on the change from the close. Anybody else? No. It should have nothing to. It should have nothing to do. I mean, it's not that recent anymore. I've tried it in my market actives. I'm looking down here. I do not see Levi's. Levi's should be here. Oh, there it is. Finally. Okay. Well. Yeah. Right. But it should be here also. Anyway, just all right, let me get rid of these two and bring in my gappers. So obviously, guys, I mean, if you got into the VISL in the pre-market, depending where and when, I mean, your day is probably done. I know mine. I mean, I can kind of coast today. I know you guys. Some people don't like my saying that. I held nothing. You mean from yesterday? I held nothing. Well, really, you wouldn't believe somebody. It's not so much in this room, the post on up here, but I get emails saying, you know what, it's a great you made money, but I didn't make any, and I hate it when you say that. And so, this is pre-market with the VISL. So when you say, oh, I'm out of it completely, I mean, I left a lot on the table, but I'm not going to complain being in at 315 and getting out a lot at 480. Well, and here's the thing. I'm not bragging. I mean, I think you guys know me well enough. I don't brag about anything. I mean, but it is what it is. It's going to be awfully hard to top a trade like this once the market opens, isn't it? On a percentage basis. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to keep scouring. And MFGP continues down here, guys. Well, the market's going to open in less than a minute. So, well, let's have a great trading day. No, no bragging. There's absolutely no bragging. It's just stating a fact. But there you go, guys. Market's open. HLIT is continuing, had a pre-market after hours high of $7. This has an analyst upgrade. Wow, there goes HLIT. I mean, right off the bat, boom. There's the after hours high yesterday, $7. Look at the market. Look at this move in the market right there. At 8:30. I even missed that, but look at the move in the market. On the downside, AMRX, this looks like a lifetime low. AMRX, lifetime low, announces restructuring plan and cuts guidance. So there's your pre-market. There's your pre-market activity also for AMRX. Look at HLIT. Again, I don't usually take, I do break my rules when it's a cheap one. I guess I should have on this one. So there is the after hours 705, analyst upgrade, $10. Again, this does not mean it's going to $10. Thunderbridge acquisition, TBRG. Never heard of this one. Another one of these companies that do acquisitions, and that's all. There was another one yesterday or a couple of days ago. All right, guys. Now, VLRX, it did have a little bit of news. VLRX, wearable devices have been adapted or accepted. Sorry, accepted. This is the news for VLRX. Low float. So keep an eye on it. I mean, it did hit 522 in the pre-market. Wow, HLIT, my goodness, on that upgrade. And they had news yesterday. I think they had a little bit of news also. The news this morning. I'm keeping an eye on VLRX to see if it holds 4. Right now it isn't. All right, keep an eye on VLRX. It popped up over 4. It's come down a little bit. This could get interesting, say around this 420 mark. Again, it's a low float situation. Okay, guys, I've created a new, well, it's the basic new highs and lows, but I've added the count filter in here as the how do I explain it? You're going to see the stocks that have had the most activity, referencing the count. How many new highs? How many new lows? This should appeal to Julian. Be like water. And there's real talking about SGH. You can see right there, 44. Alan, that is why, to be honest with you, unless I'm looking maybe to swing trade something, on longer term, and it's not really mattering what's happening intraday, that is why I never, ever, ever use the average daily volume. And yeah, I've said it 3 times, ever, ever, ever. Because, yeah, something that hardly trades very much, and all of a sudden it's having its day, like a VICSL, you won't see it. I mean, look at the relative volume, 3,800 times normal. So that's why I never use average daily volume. I would clear it out. There's no need for it if you want to find the intraday movers that all of a sudden are jumping for whatever reason, but that hardly trade in the past. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to use it. Now, if you're looking for longer term trades and all that, and you want to, see things that are trading more on an average basis, fine, but not intraday, in my opinion. My opinion only. But I and Solly, guys, holding 17. All right, now we got a little bit of a gap down and reverse for CEI. MFGP continues down here. Continues down. Wow, look at HLIT. Now there's the power of an upgrade on a small one. Now it already had, it already had a nice little move yesterday, but look at this move now for HLIT. Yeah, they did have some news yesterday, I believe, for the HLIT. So there is something in theory to sustain it. Look at the market. Wow. Yeah, there goes Solly. No, I don't use the spread filter in any scan, to be honest. I mean, I just look at the time and sales to see what it is, because the spread filter can obviously change, or the spread can change just like that. AKTS, guys, 17 million in the float. AKTS on the move here. Again, the spread filter is great if you're looking to get into something that trades a lot, and it's not like one of these ones that is sort of almost like a one-day wonder. Remember OASM, high flyer? I'm continuing to kind of watch this S fund just to see. So far, nothing, no volume. Again, why am I somewhat fixated on this? Just in case. Probably not today again. It may never happen. Don't get me like I don't know if anything's going to happen with this, but they did the reverse split 2 days ago. It hasn't done anything yet, but if they, announce some kind of anything, any sort of a press release, we'll get this running. Look at CTMX. Yes, CTMX. So volume, it's just starting out here. Yeah, look at MDR. I mean, a big float, 179 in the float. 10. We got a high here on the weekly at 1067, and another one at 1055. So obviously, if it takes out that level right there, this could really start to move. I mean, there's a huge void there. Yeah, look at MU right there, 107. That's the count. New highs. Okay, just looking at, okay, so now this is a gap. So this did not continue. I had the alert set right here, 4:30, did not continue yet anyway. Not going to discount it, only the first 15 minutes. And that's the VLRX. I have an alert set for around 4:30-ish, I think. 4:31 actually. If it takes that out, I mean, it did hit 519 in the pre-market. But, I mean, nothing may happen. But that's why we put a price alert and just let it happen. If it doesn't happen, you just move on. There's no shorts available for me for CEI at Interactive Brokers, but this does look like it's done now. Famous last words, if it pops up, but this is a gap down and continue down. Boy, look at crowd. I mean, this is still an excellent IPO. There's the low. That's last week's IPO. CrowdStrike, CRWD. Solly looks like it wants to push up a little bit. SOLI, SLY, SOLY. All right, now we've got the fall for Visel. And this is now a gap, gap up and reverse. No shorts available for me at Interactive Brokers. You know, okay, you might have to ask them for it then. They're not readily available then. Because I don't see that. Really? Hmm. I don't have a green button, but oh well. Don't trust me. Look at this MFGP just continues down here. No, that is a big green button. 1.38 million shares. Yeah, that's a conjecture, Alan, that, you know, the market's been weak the last few days because job growth was pretty strong. So the fear was that the Feds would raise interest rates, but now they're saying maybe not. You know, I mean, it's a game. Yeah, but six million in the float, AVGR, and this is AVGR. What's the spread like right now? 308, 311. Guess I should get my weekly chart here. Wow. Well, you know, I talked about it and I said, okay, I can take out this after hours high yesterday. It just exploded through it. I wish it didn't do it so quickly, but c'est la vie. Solly, great move for Solly. Off that, basically held 17. The WDC now, after that big topping tail, this looks like it could, along with MU, WDC, of course, same sector. Hey guys, keep an eye on NVTR. This was a Holly alert yesterday. And I don't know why it's not showing here, but it was a Holly alert yesterday. And it's above yesterday's high, of course, right there, 287. Fairly low float, 17 million in the float. Do a Google search on that, Roger. I mean, we don't have Bitcoin here, but I mean, do a Google search on how to buy. Now, if you're looking for a stock, GBTC, it's a pink sheet stock, but plenty of volume and good spread. If you're wanting to trade Bitcoin intraday, this basically tracks GBTC, okay? I'm just looking. I mean, the spread is always good. 1689, 1690. It's usually a pretty tight spread and always good volume. It is a pink sheet stock, but it tracks Bitcoin almost to the penny. So all right. At a premium, okay. Sorry, I thought it. But if you look at a chart, it looks like it tracks it almost to the candle. I guess that's all I'm saying. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there is, and let me just get GBTC up. That's a weekly. Let me bring the 15-minute chart over. Okay, so it doesn't have that green candle, but it does have that pop. There's that pop for Bitcoin. There's the pop, the drop. These are both 15-minute charts. So, I mean, it's pretty darn close. But does it not track the chart almost identically? It might be a premium, but it tracks the chart almost identically. Almost. All right, guys. So I haven't done anything since the pre-market. Well, kind of lost sight of the CTMX. Yeah, the volume is not great, but I mean, this is such a beautiful looking weekly chart. Now, the 200-day moving average is about a little less than $1 away now. You're going to hard pressed to find any sector down, but we have regional banks. Regional banks slightly negative. Retail slightly negative. Real estate sector fund slightly negative. But even gold is positive. Well, actually not bad, even though the market is so strong. But oil, OIH, XOP, XLE, three of the ETFs for the energy sector. One moment, please. All right, back again. Well, if you have Holly, you'll know that we've got one that has been alerted in two different strategies, or two different, same strategy, but again, two different Hollies. And this one, okay, I'm watching ADVM. Wow, HLIT. What's the spread like? Spread's even good, 3-cent spread. Yeah, VISL may not be dead. It did spike up. It's a big, big pop, almost $1.50. Hit 644 now. Yeah, the high is 7. Well, it's now. Yeah, it's wow. It is the high now. Yeah, 722 pre-market. Wow. Boy, there it goes again. You got to be careful, guys. So be very careful with it. Okay. Look at the float. 1.7 million in the float. Yeah, I mean VLRX, it may go, but for me, it's got to take this out right here. I'll be giving up a bit, but 432. But to really get it rolling, I think it has to take out 430. It hit 520 in the pre-market. So anything's possible. And they did have some news. Well, again, when you ask me if that float is correct, that's what we have. I don't know how else to answer it. That's what we have. It looks like FinViz has the same, so it's probably about the same. So my guess is that that is going to be a correct float. Okay, so far in Holly, nothing really shaking. Well, yeah, with a bit of a twist, Vicky, what I've done is the view is the ones with the most count on top. Just a bit of a twist. So that's how it's sorted. You can see right there with a minimum of 30, I think. Really? I don't see that. I see it's not shortable, but I don't see that it's that you can't trade it. GBTC. Yeah, I mean, it's a pink sheet stock, so maybe you're not subscribed to OTC and pinks. It's too bad. I wish this this stuff wasn't right here on the weekly chart stuff. This resistance, potential resistance wasn't here on this weekly chart for VNRX. Just looking at some of the other low floaters on the move to see if there's anything shaking with them. Not really. Nothing has really popped. Okay, now here's the VLRX, guys. The VLRX over 4 again. I mean, this could start a run here. It's only 5 million in the float. Definitely keep an eye on this VLRX. It hit $5 something in the pre-market, so Just watching to see how well it holds for. It's struggling to hold for, but let's see if it holds for. I'm talking about VLRX and just pops from there. I might take this if it gets up to this 415. Okay, again, struggling to hold for VLRX. Again, I'm just watching the VLRX guys, the time and sales 401, 402 right now. I want to see if it gets up to say 410 or so. Yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to yet anyway. So I have an alert set right here, the high of that candle. Okay, just forget about it for now. Actually, I saw your RDFN pre-market looked interesting. There was no volume, of course, in the pre-market, and then the market opens and it just tanked. So not quite ready yet, I guess. Have to seriously watch the VLRX guys. I mean, it could come out of nowhere, you know. I'm not saying it's going to, but it could come out of nowhere. I guarantee you traders are looking at that float. Has a little bit of, it has some room on the weekly, of course, and that's what I'm looking at. The high over here is 440, so I'd have to take this out, but so far nothing shaking from Holly yet at all. Interesting. Everything is long, but nothing's really working yet. Let's see. What time frame? You right there? Yeah, it would be, except that candle has to move below. I mean, you're right. The green candle is engulfed by the previous red one, but the time is at 10:12. 3 minutes for this to close. This would have to move down below 369 for it to be a true red bar ignored. You have to pay more attention to these these ones that are all they do is acquire companies, TBRG. I mean, look at this move. There was one a couple of days ago or even yesterday. Yeah, a crazy, well, no, it's not an RBI, but yeah, LB, lots of room underneath, 24 maybe on the, for some support, 24. So it has some room underneath LB from real. I don't have that on my chart. I don't have a big bottoming tail in the SPY. Not for me. I checked another chart too. I don't have a big bottoming tail. Don't see it here. All right, guys, keep an eye on ADVM. There's a nice bottoming tail, bit of topping tail too. So uncertainty right now. Okay, one moment, please. Yeah, I saw this one a little earlier. AKTS, another low floater, 17 million in the float. Solly is still messy. Yeah, it reminds me of yesterday. I remember how yesterday just chopped around almost all day long. And then all of a sudden had that big spurt up through 19, and then it gave it up and gave it up more in the after hours. I'm just looking here right now to see AKTS. Expects revenue upper end of previous guidance. So that is the reason why AKTS is moving. Well, I'm a momentum trader, Peter. So, I mean, I'm always looking for stocks breaking out maybe to, or close to new highs. Doesn't mean just because a stock like this stock, just because it's making a new high, doesn't mean I pile into it. But let's say it you know, if it never did, if it consolidated just a little bit and then popped up, that might get me interested. Yeah, a little coffee and cereal. So that's why all these alerts, every alert you see here, these are either these are making new highs or new lows. Look at beta here. Now beta is interesting. Little bottoming tail there. Let's see. Nice little weekly. Let's see. What are these at? These are 11. See, that's the problem. 1145, 1140, 1138. The highs of 2 weeks right here. It's you know, if these weren't here, it'd look a lot better. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not going to keep ripping, but I just would rather not see this. Okay, VISL. What's the spread on that one? Actually, it's pretty decent. Yeah, just be careful. I mean, look at the pop and drop for VISL. It just touched the high right there. Not quite. 745. The high is 760. Here's beta, guys. Beta. I mean, I just wish this wasn't here. I mean, beta could keep moving. Nice bottoming tail. I just wish this wasn't here, though. This 1145 area for beta, BITA. Wow, look at ATIS. Ooh, boy, well, how much volume? Good, decent volume right now. Look at that red bar ignored right there, bottoming tail. Another low float situation, 2.5 in the float. I do not see any specific news for it. Yeah, okay, go ahead, ask a question. Ask it in the off topic or tech support, please, okay? Ask it either in tech support or off topic. All right, we try to keep this tab only for stock ideas, all right? So just click on the off topic or tech support, please. Thank you. It still has wow, this still has room, you know, ATIS, it still has room. 268. Just looking to see any halts yet. No halts yet. VISL still playing around that 7 level. Just watching VISL here and the action, over 7. This could explode at any time, of course. Okay, Trading B, you're in the tech support tab. Scroll up to the top. I have something that's written there that might help you, okay? So scroll up to the top. Okay? You can hear me, I hope. In the tab, you posted that in tech support to scroll up to the up to the top, and hopefully that'll help you. Just one moment, please. Okay, no. I think what happened is when Microsoft okay, you should hear me now, right? Make sure you can hear me now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, when I lost all my screens, the microphone got muted. Okay, so anyway, here we are. If you take a look at the subscriptions tab, then you will see there's the promo code for a subscription to Trade Ideas. This is what Trade Ideas costs. So we have basically 4 plans, $10.68 a year minus the 15%. For our standard plan, our premium is $22.68 a year minus the 15%. The big difference is Holly not having a good day today. But you can always, if you're unsure about our program, I would never suggest you take never suggest that you would hop into a yearly plan. You could always start off with a standard monthly, $118 less that 15%, or even the premium, $228 less the 15%. If within 30 days, so by August the 9th, you decide you'd like to upgrade, say from standard to premium or from monthly to yearly, you can do so and we'll honor the promo code. I'm going to go over Holly right now. There's the link for it. Keeping an eye on VISL as it's trying to crawl back over 7. So this is basically what happens with Holly. There are 50 strategies that we call baseline strategies that Holly will optimize at the end of every market day. So she'll take today's data once the market's closed, run through a back tester for over probably 90 days. And if this were a Holly strategy, here are the alerts. Here are the filters in place. And the Holly strategies have way more filters. So what happens is when she back tests, and every time a new high would happen and all the filters were met, that would be an event. So there have to be enough stocks, there have to be enough alerts over a 90-day period. Obviously, there just can't be 2 or 3. So that's where what we call our baseline strategies will always have enough alerts, and then goes through an optimization procedure. So what does that mean? So she might take a look at this right here and say, okay, what if we make a change here? Instead of between 50 cents and $10, we make that $1 and $10. What happens when we run our back tester? What happens to the profit factor and win percentage? If it makes a big difference, maybe that's all she does. Otherwise, she might move to another filter, and then another filter, or another one, or take a filter out, add a filter in. You can see that it would take a long time, even for us as a human being, to do one strategy, whereas Holly goes through about 50 plus. And then at the end of today, she'll have optimized all the strategies and we'll be presented with the ones that made the cut tomorrow. Typically making the cut, meaning a profit factor of at least 2 and a win percentage of at least 60. If you're interested in what the Holly strategies mean, what is looking for, some of them are obvious: strong stock pulling back, on support, downward momentum. But here you can click on that link right there. That is a description of all the strategies. Training, Monday to Thursday at noon Eastern. Webinars, Monday to Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern, all archived. You should have the latest version of Trade Ideas. If you don't know what you've got, help about will tell you. You should have 4.2.81. Typically, if you see, I think in the help or the account, you should see something that is in green, and that'll let you know that there's a new one available. You can take out a demo Trade Ideas. And I do a daily video between 1:15 and 1:45 every day. I'm going to go over Brokerage Plus right now. Meanwhile, PAJS is running up here. So this is what Brokerage Plus looks like. And I'm going to start off with, you don't care about auto trading, are there your own strategies? And Holly, which I don't recommend. If you have your own strategy and you want to auto trade it and you're very, very comfortable, okay. But Brokerage Plus is now part of your standard service. So what it means, but first you do need an interactive brokerage account. This is not a brokerage platform. It's order entry, and right now it links only with Interactive Broker. So you would use this for your order entry instead of your IB order entry. We are looking to add other brokerage platforms. I cannot tell you which ones and when that might happen. So in its simplest form, you would click on an alert and it would load, and you pick how many shares you want, and you'll see the bid and ask. You can short, buy, sell, or buy. These are hotkeys. Flatten, get out of a position. Half, get out of half. Double your position. Reverse, go from long to short, short to long. Secondly, you can set up trading, what we call one-click buying or shorting. You can set up your own buying and shorting parameters ahead of time. So you see something on the chart you like, and you can pick how you want to trade it. Okay, that is part of your standard package. The other thing that we're working on hard is to turn this also into a real-time paper trading module. You won't even need it won't be linked to any brokerage. It won't matter. You know, all the alerts we get here are real-time. You can use this to paper trade. And that, I don't know when that's going to happen, but they're working. That's sort of the next big, well, not the next, it's a project that they're working on right now. All right. Okay, Elihu, I do not see a question from you, so I'm assuming you're not going to ask a question. And again, I direct you to the tech support tab. Okay, I know if you can't see my screen, you won't see what I'm doing, but if you click on the tech support tab, if for some reason you've lost audio or you can't see my screen, just click on the tech support tab and scroll right to the top. And I have some information there that might help. Okay. All right, Loop had earnings yesterday. Obviously, a great reaction to it, right there. But it's had a great run. Look at Loop. Great run. Low float situation with a $14 stock with a 15 million float. That is pretty low. Not a lifetime high. Let me back this out and see what sort of resistance we might have. So 1473 on that weekly chart looks like the next area. 1473, a potential resistance for Loop. And the spread on Loop now is not good. All right. I am talking. You guys can hear me, right? I want to make sure you guys can hear me again. So test on the audio. Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, man, I don't know how to help. If you have gone through Ooh, look at GVA collapsing here, man, all the way down from 46. Well, it looks worse than it is, but look at GVA. Okay, with this little SPY drop, we're seeing some of the flyers, though they usually don't mirror the SPY that much, but we're seeing some of the flyers starting to drop here. All right, MFGP. This what's the spread like? Actually, the spread is pretty good. 2260. Okay. Right at that 8 EMA. Let's see if it takes it out. I'm afraid to look. It's still a little bit spready. 1406, 1419, but at the end of the day, who knows where this is going? What a week? What several weeks? I mean, it's just almost a double in 3 weeks. All right, guys, I'm trying some of this MFGP. I mean, maybe a little premature. There's the 8. It hasn't quite popped through it, but I'll put a pretty tight stop on it. If it doesn't work immediately, I'm out. I'm into 2222. I like the symmetry. I couldn't resist. 2222. How can I resist? There's the resistance area I'm looking at. So I'm not looking for a massive gain here. But who knows? Maybe we'll get like an LNN from yesterday. Remember, I don't know if you guys, if you were in the room yesterday, you know, this one was actually, that's only the normal market hours. It was even lower in the pre-market. It was in the 60s and it got all the way up to 92. It was an earnings play that looked terrible in the pre-market. And then it just completely recovered. Yeah, VISL, I mean, it's not dead, as Real says. I mean, it's just kind of chopping around here. It's not, I think it would have to, first of all, I have no shorts available, number one, but very, very messy right now. These topping tails and all. Well, I saw it earlier. You know, I missed it. I mean, look where it got to, guys. I mean, a little bit above the high right there, 291. It got to what? 3. So just look at all the resistance right here, just around that 3 level. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles on the weekly chart. I'm not saying it can't get through that, but it'll be a stern test to get through it. Not quite. That green candle did not go above the high there. I mean, it's very close. Did not. I mean, it's moving, but that green candle did not close or go above the high there. I mean, it was within a penny, I guess, 73 cents. Yeah, it basically didn't go above it, so it's close. Yeah, I've got my alert set to just over 7 for VISL. Right there, about 714 or so. Clear 7. Might take a shot at it. Well, this was a good short reel, RDFN. This is a gap up and reverse. Right here, gap up and reverse RDFN. All right, I'm out of the MFGP. As I said, if it had any weakness at all, I was out of it. Did not break through that. Whoops. Whoa, look at the CHFS here, guys. Look at the pop here. CHFS, another crazy low floater, 2 million in the float. It doesn't have a lot of room on the weekly, though, unfortunately. Look at all the potential resistance right here. Oh, I wouldn't be waiting that long on the VISL. I mean, you know, I mean, I guess that would be the safest, taking out the high. But it's up to you. Something's happening, though. Look at the volume that came into CHFS. Again, I just don't like that the daily or the weekly chart. I mean, I suppose there's maybe an argument to be made for a three up to 330 or so, maybe. If you look at the daily chart, just don't like it, but it just doesn't look that clean. No, I don't see any news either. Boy, oh boy. I mean, look at this RDFN. What's the spread like? That spread is good. Yeah, a little green bar ignored now on the SPY. Okay, well, that's why you have a stop, guys, and don't get too crazy. Look at the MFGP, nice little 5 cent loss. Had I been stubborn, turned into a much bigger loss. You always have to be prepared to admit you're wrong. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Grupo Televisa. Interesting one. This has some room. There it is. There's the room maybe to the 940 level. It's a huge float, which is not terrible. It could be a rather gentle or a stress-free trade. Well, I mean, on the fives, to me right now, it's. I mean, there's a cross down actually. Yeah, to me, it's just not interesting enough. A lot of resistance not that far away, 30 cents away. Yeah, AMD will more than likely. I know it's a kind of a story stock, but more than likely would follow the market. All right, CTMX, a 3-bar pullback on the 15s. And it's just over the high of that bar, 1224. Not on the bid though. I'd like to see the bid get up. This has promise. You know, I'm not the greatest swing trader, but pullback. But there's the 3-bar pullback. I'd like to see some volume come in too before it's not very much volume on this. And I'm talking the CTMX. Plus the market is starting to drift down. Not that I think that something like this is really that reflective of the market, but all right, well, things are settling down now. Somebody mentioned mini before. I haven't seen that, but I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it is real time now. You know, Holly can't know if you get the alert, and if it moves 20 cents in a half a second later, Holly can't do anything about that. So that doesn't mean they're late. But the next Holly alert we get, I'll take a look. There's Solly. Solly is again trying very, very whippy. I don't have that up. I don't have that up, Vicky. Actually, I had to make a choice, and I may resurrect it. Those two, I don't have them up. Would have been a nice one for sure. All right, guys. It's teasing us. VISL, it is teasing us, but you can just sort of look at this. I mean, I don't like these topping tails, but making higher lows. That didn't make sense. Higher lows. That did make sense. Well, guys, I'm just looking at Holly's having a brutal day. Nothing is shaking on her today. Not yet, anyway. Too bad this one was not for me anyway. Was not shortable. Look at this move right from the get-go. $6 down to 474 CEI. Look at Solly now. Man, it's a tough intraday trader, in my opinion. Now this could be interesting. Red bar ignored right there for ENPH. The trigger would have been 1935. Nice bottoming tail, actually. Like to see the market at least stop moving down, though. You don't have Holly. Holly is on another monitor, a premium service, so I don't show it. Not fair to the people who pay for the service. But it's right here. One moment, please. All right, DLRX, dead. No bueno. Okay, was waiting for an alert there. Never happened. All right, guys. I'm just looking right now. I ended up taking the ENPH. I'm going to put a fairly tight stop on it. What did I get it at? 1946. Based on the, I like to see the market at least stop doing this, but it was based on that red bar ignored right there. So it was a little bit late. I wish I'd seen it right there, but I didn't. But I'm in at 1946. The market doing what it's doing, this might be a very quick in and out. Tuborg, that's what I want to call it. TBRG still strong here. As I kind of thought, BIDA would have a tough time getting through this area. Look where it got to. 1148. That's 1138. That's 1145. So this area right there, very tough for it to get through so far anyway. Guys, I'm bailing on the ENPH. I just don't like the way the SPY is, what's happening with the SPY here, okay? I mean, I may be a little jumpy on it, but I just bailed on it. Little profit. I'll keep an eye on it if it wants to move a little bit more, but just don't like what the market is doing right now. I'm not saying ENPH will absolutely track that market, but okay, guys, VISL may be getting ready right now. Just popped over 7. Is that question directed to me, Julian? Be like water about a filter trade ideas at the open? You mean this, the count right here? This is just showing what stocks, ranking the stocks that have had the most count. I can give it to you. Basically, just ranks the top counts for the day, either up or down, of course. So guys, on the VISL, you're going to have to kind of be on your own. This is so whippy. So I may trade this again. I may be in it. I may not be, but it's up to you because this is so whippy. Still. Yeah, I mean, okay. Look at GBTC. I mean, that has to mirror the drop of Bitcoin. Wow, look at Solly now. My goodness. All these little alerts I had for it. Okay, AKTS getting to another big level here. Look at the volume that came in on that day, on the 28th of June. And the high was 663. The high right there is 659. So getting right to that area. And then there's still at 668. So there's a lot of resistance right here. Boy, VISL is a messy one. Oh. Yeah, there's probably no in between on the VISL. All right, so I see ENPH actually started to move a bit. I just didn't like the SPY action. You know, I mean, it's still obviously, if I could have got it back here, I may have remained in it, but I was a little bit late. All right, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, Julian, sorry, I had myself on mute. So yeah, that is not that's not an earnings filter. Yeah, I have actually I don't have I have the relative volume. I don't have earnings. I have the this is not a filter though, right? This I mean it's a filter, but it's not the earnings filter as such or date filter. This is just as making sure that I'm seeing stocks. Yeah, so what I did is I took out the relative volume, but again, this is not an earnings date. This is not an earnings date. This is the EPS filter, which is just, you know, making sure that it's a stock. So it's not earnings date. $11.24. My break is coming up in about 20 minutes. Yeah, you just need a little bit of volume to come into VISL to propel it higher. But right now it's just kind of choppy. Just need, you know, I'd like to get like a volume bar like that or something. Look at the volume, 20 million shares, 243 times normal up to this point of the day. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have been so jumpy on the ENPH. Turned into a not bad. It was this right there that it was right there that caused me the concern. The markets continues to drift down, but okay, this is doing its own thing, sort of. This is actually about the worst day I've seen from Holly in a long, long time. I mean, there's not one that is really up. Now, it makes a little bit of sense in that virtually, you know, there are a couple of shorts, but everything is long, and now with the market doing this. But when the market was doing this, there were some of these long plays weren't working either. But now that the market is doing this, all these long plays are getting hit. Yeah, I mean, one short is working modestly. I mean, I just look at the percent. Yes, I mean, 69.99 down to 69.64. modestly. No, kaboom. Now will this run? Well, the answer is yes. So, guys, if you had the patience on the VISL, all it took, look at the volume that came in. Now, it wasn't quite what I was looking at. I was looking maybe at that volume, but what time is it? It's got 2 more minutes, but I mean, it's eclipsing these 3 before. Yeah, another opportunity. As I said, you have to be, it's hard for me to tell you that I was in this one, okay? Because too many new people that'll say, oh, he's in it, so I'm going to take it. And this could have dropped so quickly. So that's why I said, if you're going to trade this, you have to trade it on your own and be careful. Oh, I see. Okay. You change from the close. All right. Why not? Yeah, for me, the price filter, though, I'll keep that in because, I don't like to trade the more expensive stock. So now where are we going? I have to back this out. I can't remember what it looks like on a, oh yeah, there's nothing. That's right. There's nothing. Nothing stopping this right now. What for VISL? I still don't think it was short of, I still see, a faded green dot for me anyway. Maybe they were protecting me. I miss Martin. I don't, because so when I was gone a couple of weeks ago, did Martin say he was taking off for a vacation or something? I haven't seen Martin for a while. I haven't seen him since I've got back. Yeah, here goes the last bit of coffee. in stereo. So he didn't say anything? He didn't say that he was taking off for a week or so, because he was always all over these type. Okay, the good thing is a little narrow candle right here. That's the good thing. Your right, I mean, on that huge pop here, but the good news, little narrow candle. So just settling down a little bit. 785, 790. It is. I actually have a 15-minute open. That's what I see, but I don't see a big difference. Oh, monthly. Well, oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure this is not an IPO. I think what happened is probably a reorganization or a new symbol change or something like that. Name change, yeah. Well, that's all traders are looking at right now. Ouch. Wow, the ENPH turned out to be a nice trade. Hey, look at this thing, TBRG. Here are the warrants. TBRG, this is a lifetime high. TBRG, this is continuing to move here. This company basically is an acquisition-based company, does not have intends to acquire one or merger, share, et cetera, et cetera. Is it boom or boom? Okay, boom. How would this, was it KNSA? What did it do today? A little bit of a pullback, KNSA. Well, guys, if you're in this VISL, I mean, it is looking pretty good here. I mean, topping tail, bottoming tail, so uncertainty right there, but it's a very narrow body of that candle. We're wondering, okay, should I or should I not get in? That's the question, or hold even. I don't have borrows. Somebody's saying they had borrows at IB. I don't. All right, guys, just watching the VISL here, see if it can hold this level. Yeah, looking a little more dicey now. Oh, I don't think there are any institutional traders in this at all. I mean, there might be a minor player, but they shy away from these. VISL. I'm not saying there are none, but you're not going to find any big names in a VISL. Really? Must be small, but small guys. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that any name institution would be involved in this one. Look, look, I could be wrong, but Split is looking interesting. Okay, so who asked the question about Holly being a little late? Okay, so we had an alert for PI at 33.96, and yeah, I mean it immediately moved to 34.05. I mean Holly can't know that, so it's not that she's late on the alert. The alert happened at 33.96, and the stock, immediately jumped. So I mean it's not that she's late on the alert. Who asked that question? And it's not that big a deal. 33.96 is at 34.02 right now. It's not that big a deal. Depends how fast, depends how fast moving the stock is. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. You get into something that is, a huge candle, and Holly will give you the alert, real-time alert, exactly when it's supposed to, but you can't control how fast it goes, the seconds afterwards. Okay, guys, so if you're in that VISL, that's a big pullback from 8. So hopefully if you had stops in place, you got out. Yeah, I guess you could argue at the beginning anyway, so much for the conviction buy. Look what it did I mean, it's a little interesting. This is what it did right at the open, and remember now, I mean, remember what the SPY was doing, at the very beginning. But again, when they talk a conviction buy, we're not talking today necessarily. All right, guys, getting close to my break time here. 11:42. Be taking my break in a few minutes. Okay, here's a little one moving on the move here. Look at all the volume, 117,000. That's almost a little over half the total volume here. Moving, CEAC. I'm sorry, SEAC. It's not a beautiful, no, it's not that bad. I suppose lots of resistance around 170, though. Too bad. Something is causing this, but a lot of resistance around 170. That's not too far away. Now I'm setting alert for $8 for this VISL. Or 795. Looks like that's the high of these two candles, around $8. So that's where I'm going to set my alert, see if it happens later on. Huh. So much for the this one so far anyway. OGI had the news yesterday, looked good, popped up, sold off. You remember the big news probably though is more the co-CEO of CGC that got turfed last week. Has an interest or has expressed that he might have an interest in this one, OGI. All right, guys, it is now break time for me, so I'm just going to get the announcement up. Out of there. Okay, guys, and what I'm also going to do, I'm going to put it on surf mode. Again, I'll go over what surf mode is all about. Surf mode, there's the toggle. It's just basically a toggle on or off. I'm on surf mode now, so what it's going to do is going to go through the top 3 as I have them sorted in my top list windows. All right, it's going to cycle through all the top list windows. There are some of my other monitors that you cannot see and some that I've got minimized. It's also going to look at the top 3 in the Holly of the 3 Holly segments, and it'll look at the top 3 in my price alerts. Okay, and it'll keep cycling through them over and over and over again. If you go to a chart, it'll stop. You can take a look at the chart longer, of course. It'll stop surfing. You can decide what you want to do. And when you back off the chart, the surfing will resume. If you click on an alert, it'll stop surfing. And of course, that's just a toggle on and off. Okay? All right, so we'll see you in a while.